Good morning, good morning. First Nephi, chapter 4. We're going to start today in our butterfly pose. So bring the soles of the feet together and in towards your hips. The closer your feet are to your hips, the harder it is. The farther away they are, the easier it is. So modify wherever you need to. Bring them into a comfortable position. You can bring your hands to our center. You can come down here and start your breath. So we're going to start breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, exhale, just let it all go. Notice in your body where there's tension this morning or where you're holding something that might not serve your body. Inhale, accept, love, notice that it's there, and exhale, and just let it go. Exhale it out. Keeping that breath alive, we're going to start in chapter 4, verse 1. We always seem to start on the first verses, and I don't know, maybe there's something to that. There's just a lot of depth in the first verses. So, going back a little bit to yesterday, they tried to get the plates of brass from Lamen twice, right? And they were unsuccessful. Meanwhile, Laban took everything they owned, and then they started beating each other up because Lamen and Lemuel were murmuring, and kind of ended messy a little bit. It'll smooth itself out. So, in the very last verse of chapter 3, Lamen and Lemuel are of course murmuring, and then it says, "How is it possible that the Lord will deliver Laban into our hands? Behold, he's a mighty man. He can command 50, yea, he can even slay or kill 50 people. Why can't he kill us? He can tell his people to just kill somebody on the flip of a coin. Why can't he just come kill us? Like, what? This is stupid. What are we doing?" But I love Nephi's response to that. He says, "For behold, the Lord is mightier than all of the earth. Why not mightier than Laban and his 50? Yea, even mightier than his tens of thousands." So Nephi comes back like, bam, like, what are you going to say to that? And then verse 3. Okay, we'll start moving. Place your left hand on the outer thigh of your right leg and just gently twist here. Okay, so verse 3. There's a line in here that says, "Wherefore can ye doubt? Let us go up. The Lord is able to deliver us and deliver Laban." Wherefore can ye doubt? And that really made me think of our doubt not moments, right? We all have these doubt not moments. And I know in my life, I've had so many doubts with my testimony many, many times. And every time I actually sit down, come back to center, inhale here, exhale here. We're going to twist the other side. Every time I have these doubts and really sit down and think about them, I always come back to these memories that I've had in my life where I know of a surety that that was God or the Spirit or Christ. I know that I felt it. I cannot deny it. And I know that in some instances, it didn't even make sense in a worldly view. It only makes sense on a spiritual level. Like certain things that happened, they would not have happened. And only I know that. So I love that. Like, whenever you're starting to doubt, wherefore can ye doubt? How can you doubt if you have felt so many strong things? And you just can't deny it. Okay, so then verse 4, they still continue to murmur, and then they're like, okay, we're going to go in a third time, Before we go into this, let's go into our tabletop. So all hands, all knees, shoulders over wrists, hips are over knees, your spine is straight, we're not bending it or arching it. We're just in a nice neutral spine right here. And inhale, we're going to lift our right arm out in front of us. So they're like, we're going to go in another time, and this is our plan. We're going to creep into the city. I'm sure Lamen and Nephi are like, coming in? You're going to just creep, huh? But they crept. They crept into the city with basically no plan. And then in verse 7 it says, bring that right arm down, left arm comes up. Verse 7 it says, nevertheless I went forth. And I love that. Like, nevertheless they went forth to the house of Laban. Yes, there was fear. Yes, there was faith. Yes, there were all these feelings, and yes, nobody believed, or Laman and Lemuel, I should say, didn't even believe that it was possible. Nevertheless, they went forth. And I don't know if you guys watch Don't Miss This. It's another YouTube channel where they go over the come follow me stuff. Okay, bring your right leg up. Keep your hips square. Again, you don't want to like completely bring that hip all the way up. We want it pretty perpendicular to our ground. So bring that right hip just down a little bit. Make sure it's just square. You can flex your foot here. You can either do some ankle circles. But don't miss this. It's another YouTube channel. They go over Come Follow Me each week. Really, really good. I highly recommend it if you want something else as well. But they do one video per week. So, but they mentioned also some nevertheless moments in their life where they're like, I'm not sure if I can do this, or I'm not even sure what I'm doing, but I know I'm guided by the Spirit right now, so nevertheless, I'm going to go. Bring that right leg down, left leg up. So I wanted to just pause here for a minute and let you think about some nevertheless moments in your life. For me, these videos have been a nevertheless moment. I just couldn't kick the idea. I couldn't deny that I felt so just prompted. I felt prompted to do these, and that was kind of a nevertheless moment. It was just kind of like, okay, nevertheless, like I don't feel like I'm feeling very inadequate with this. Nevertheless, I'm going to do it. Okay, so think about that. What are your nevertheless moments in your life? So they come to Laban's house, bring that foot back down. Now we're going to combine legs and arms. Right arm is going to go up, left leg is going to lift. And we're just kind of going to balance right here, engage your core, and breathe through it. Just find a little bit of balance. Find strength in that right leg. Again, your core is super strong, and your spine is a nice neutral spine. We're not curving it like this. We're not curling it like this. Nice and neutral. Okay. So they go into Laban's house. They find him totally drunk. And basically an opportunity for Nephi to just kill him. And he finds his sword right by him that's like, you know, in all the gold and all the silver, very expensive sword. And he was constrained, verse 10, constrained by the Spirit that I should kill Laban. And I love that it says, and I shrunk, and I would that I might not slay him. And he shrunk. Like, there's another moment. Bring those limbs back down to the ground. Other side, left arm, right leg up. Core engaged. And he shrunk. Like, there's another moment where it shows that they are just human and that they have emotions and they have feelings. And he shrunk. He didn't want to kill him. I just love that. I love the feeling behind that. Okay, so So he slays him. He realizes in verse 13, it's better to kill one man than let the whole nation of Jerusalem dwindle. So he kills him. He dresses up in all of his clothing, Bring both of those limbs back down. We're gonna go do the other side one more time. Both sides one more time. So right arm, left leg. So he dresses in his clothing. He fakes, basically pretends he's Laban, and so that he can get the brass plates. He goes down to the treasury, gets the plates. He uses the voice of Laban. He comes back out the door. He has the plates in his hand. And in verse 28, it says, when Laban saw me, he was exceedingly frightened, and also Lemuel and Sam. Like, they all thought that he was actually Laban, and they thought Laban had killed Nephi, and they were coming to kill them too. And they're like, okay, we're ditching this. See you later. And he's like, no, it's me, it's Nephi. Bring those limbs back down. Other side, left arm, right leg. And so they're like, oh, okay, hey, what's up? Did you get it? Cool. And then verse 33, I love that it also says, he need not fear. There's that fear word again, right? He need not fear, so he's using all the faith. And they're now talking to Zoram, which is the servant of Laban. And they're like, hey, come with us. We know Laban is dead. You have basically nowhere to go. Bring your both limbs back down to the ground. So now we are going to come into kind of a low lunge. So bring that right leg back, and then we're gonna scrunch kind of a knee to nose, engage that core, and just bring that leg through in between both of your hands. Then your left leg is just gonna kind of lift a little bit. We're gonna go onto our toes and bring that knee back down to the ground. Just kind of a low lunge. Our knee is on the ground. Again, this knee is not completely over those toes. We're gonna bring it back into a nice like 90-degree knee here, or 45-degree, I guess now, because our knee's down here. Anyway, so they're like, Zoram, come with us. Laban's dead. You've got nowhere to go. You know we're powerful. We just killed your master. Come with us. And also, we have a little bit of a double motive here, because you can also get us out of the city, since everyone has a lookout for us, because everybody hates us because of Laban. So you can help us get out of the city, and you can just come with us, and we can show you what we're all about. And Zoram's like, okay, I might as well. And at first they were a little bit nervous to have Zoram join them, since they were on opposite sides just barely. But they soon gain trust. Okay, so lift that knee and just come into a low lunge. You can go here with both palms on the ground. That gives you a lot of stability. You can also come up here and just kind of rest your hands on your leg. This is a lot harder. Also, if you're here, don't put any pressure on that knee. You always want them on your thigh. Okay. So now we're going to go into chapter 5. We're going to do two chapters today. So now it talks about Sariah, which is a cool chapter. This is their mom, right? Sariah is the mom. And it hasn't talked a whole lot about her until now. So now bring that right hand on the on the inside of that leg. Our leg is staying the same, but we're just lifting this right hand, putting it on the inside into lizard pose. And here you can stay here. This is easier. You can come here for a deeper stretch. This is a little bit harder. Come down to your forearms. And you can go even deeper if you feel so inclined. So it talks about how Sariah legitimately thought her sons were dead, which I can't even imagine. That would suck so bad. I mean, they took a while. They had to go in there 3 times and figure the whole thing out. And Sariah's like, I did not think that there was like murder and all this stuff that had to happen. Like, God just said, go get the plates. I didn't think it would be that bad. That's why she thought they were dead, because it had been so long. Okay, bring that right leg back, coming into kind of a high plank here. And quickly, we're just gonna lift the left leg through both of our hands, lower that right knee into a low lunge. Our knee is on the ground. So now Sariah knows that they're alive. She's like, oh, I love you guys, thank you, come home. And then they start going through the plates of brass after some celebration and stuff that they're even alive. They start going through these plates of brass. And I think it's kind of cool as I was reading this, in like verse 14, right, chapter 5. My father Lehi also found upon the plates of brass a genealogy of his fathers, where he was a descendant of Joseph. And it talks about like his family. They were preserved by the hand of the Lord, that they might preserve his father Jacob and his father. And like it talks about this whole genealogy that was in there. Okay, lift that back knee up. And if you did this on the other side, go ahead and come here. Which, in my mind, I was like, well, that's probably why this family was called. One, because their faith was so strong. And two, because this is like talking about their family. They can relate to this. And I can't imagine how cool that would be for Lehi to be like, wow, this is my family. Verse 18, these plates of brass should go forth unto all nations, kindreds, tongues, and people who were of his seed. How powerful. 19, wherefore he said that these plates of brass should never perish, neither should they be dimmed by any more by time. Okay. Left arm, come to the inside of that foot. Lizard pose, you can stay up here or come down to the forearms. And then in verse 22, wherefore it was wisdom in the Lord that we should carry these plates with us and journey into the wilderness, into the land of promise. So they're like, okay, we did this. Good job, go team, go. Let's keep going. Okay. Lift that left leg up, bring it back, high plank. This time we're gonna lift the right leg one more time, bring it through both of our hands, and this time just bring both of your toes forward, or to the side, I guess for you guys, right? To me it's forward. And we're just gonna come into a wide-legged standing forward fold. We're just gonna come into a wide-legged forward fold. And I mean, at this point, I guess they really don't have a whole lot of choice because everything they own has been taken by Laban, but he's now dead too, but they still can't really go back and be like, okay, this was mine, this was mine, this was mine. They've just lost everything, so they're like, okay, and here we go. Let's just move forward, go somewhere new. Tell us where to go. Roll up. Step into the center with your feet. And just come into a standing pose. Sometimes my blood pressure goes a little bit slower than my body, so if you need to take a moment and just kind of stay down here for a minute for your blood pressure to catch up, go ahead and do that. I do that. Especially in hot yoga or something, my brain just kind of blacks out for a minute and I'm like, oh, hold on. So take your time. And just come to our breath. Hands start center. Actually, today let's go our left hand on our heart, right hand come to your belly. Feel that breath. This time as you breathe, on our next inhale, we're going to really fill up the belly with air. So inhale, fill up the whole chest. Keep inhaling, keep inhaling, and then your belly is going to start to rise as well with air. Inhale, inhale, inhale. If you're pregnant, you don't want to hold the breath at the top. If you're not, you can hold it for a couple seconds, which is actually really healthy when you're not pregnant. And exhale whenever you're ready. Let it all go. It's really healthy to fill our gut and our bowels and our lungs with just all the oxygen. So good for your body. So, so good. Like I said, a good deep breath is like giving your body the biggest hug. Such a good hug. So let's just start our day with some good self-hugs. We love those. Inhale and exhale. The light in me honors and loves the light within you. Tomorrow we will go over chapter 6 and 7. So inhale the light in me, honors and loves the light within you. Namaste.